This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Today, Vav Tmuz is the Yahrtzeit of Hagoyin Reb Simcha Bunim ben Berachia Lieberman, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha. Last year we spoke about him on the Yahrtzeit. We said over Torah from one of his many Sfarim. He was a prolific writer. He wrote many Sfarim under the titles B'Shvilei. So he has a Sefer B'Shvilei Hashchita, B'Shvilei Hamoyed, B'Shvilei Hashvisa, B'Shvilei Hashabbos, B'Shvilei Hahalacha, B'Shvilei Hahoida, B'Shvilei Hagoimel, B'Shvilei Ha'avoida. I have B'Shvilei Hamelech. And we said over something from the Sefer B'Shvilei Hamelech, whether the Mashiach has to come from Shloimei Hamelech or only from David, but not specifically from Shloimei. So interestingly, Rav Lieberman was one of the last survivors of the Warsaw Ghetto. He survived 6 concentration camps. He was in Windermere in England, a place where they taught boys various trades. And when the chief rabbi came, he asked if he could be taken to yeshiva. And because of him, a number of boys were taken to yeshiva. Rav Matisyahu Salomon mentioned him at the Siyum Hashas, when one day Rav Salomon came home as a young boy, and his mother had baked cookies, and Rav Matisyahu said, who are these for? She said, it's for a young boy who farhered himself on 250 blot Gemara. This was Rav Lieberman, and Rav Matisyahu said it engendered within him a cheshek to learn Torah. So if we could say over Lekavod the Yahrtzeit, something that Rav Lieberman printed, aside from his own chidushim, he also was involved in publishing Svarim. So he published the chidushim of the Rikanti, one of the Italian Mikubalim from the Rishonim. He printed what is called Tamei HaMitzvos of the Rikanti. He printed Likutei Rikanti with the commentary of the Lavush, Tamei HaMitzvos al Pisoid, Kuntris Harishonim Kemalachim, and in the back he printed something called Sifsei Kedoshim, which are Divrei Torah from the masters of Chasidus on the Parsha. So I'd like to share with you Lekavod the Yahrtzeit, something Rabbi Lieberman published from Maharam Milisk on Parshas Chukas. The pasuk says, "V'haya kol hanoshuch." We know the Yidden spoke about Moshe Rabbeinu. They were punished. They were attacked by snakes, and Moshe was commanded to put a snake on a pole. And Chazal say they would look up and they would see the snake, and they would think of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they would be healed. But the lashon of Chazal in Masechet Rosh Hashanah, quoted by Rashi, is Bizman, when they were bitten, mistaklin klape mala. They would look klape mala, toward above. And Rav Lisk, the Maharam Milisk, asks, why does it have to say they looked klape mala, toward above? It should say they looked lamala. Why klape mala? Well, he says as follows. The purpose of the snake, we all know that a snake is just an agent of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it's sent if a person is choite. However, this kind of fear that a snake inspires is not real Yira Shamayim. It's Yira Tata. It's the lower level fear. It's the fear of Yiras HaOnesh. But when somebody looks at the snake and they're frightened, they would have the following thought: am I afraid of the snake? Isn't it embarrassing that I'm only afraid of the snake? Why am I not afraid of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and His awesome majesty, which is the higher level of fear, Yira Ila'ah? So when one looked at the snake, they would then say to themselves, if I'm afraid of the snake, I should certainly be afraid of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So when they looked klape mala, when they saw the snake, they then said, relative to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this is not the real fear. So klape doesn't just mean in the direction of, klape means relative to. So when they looked klape mala, relative to, above, they not only were afraid of the snake, but it engendered a real fear of Yiras HaRoimimos, and this is Dvar Torah printed in the Sefer Sifsei Kedoshim, published by Rav Simcha Bunim Lieberman. And on this occasion, we wish his neshama should have an aliyah, B'Yel Me'el Yosher for Sol Mishpacha, for Simcha Sanachas, B'Suras Toivos, Ad Bias Glatstein.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.